Guess who's back? Back again. And yeah, you'll see that the Umarex Trust Me revolver is still sat on the bench here. And that's because we're going to be looking at another model in the line of Umarex revolvers. I'm spending my hard-earned money so you guys do not have to. And here we have it. We have the competitor model. And the reason why I wanted to have a look at this is because the finish looked different. And I'm not too sure or clued up on the real history of the real steel version of this. This is not a real gun, it's an airsoft replica. It's like a competitor, as you say. I imagine it's used for competitive shooting, and it does look like there's a weight system in the front, so maybe we can change the weight of the front of the revolver. Now this box is extremely heavy, so let's pull it open here. Same blue box as all the other models. Let's pull it open, and this one is a brand new one. It does have a Chrono sheet from Land Warrior. Picked it up from them. I was actually going to order this abroad, and it was just by chance I popped onto Land Warrior's website and picked this up in the 629 Classic just because it was like on the new in page. I was like, why not? So here we have it. And first things first, the front barrel on this thing is extremely heavy. And I'm not saying like that just, acting like a wimp. This thing is so heavy on the front, it's like someone's hanging a bag of sugar off the end of the barrel. So also in the box, we have a Land Warrior sheet with a Chrono bits piece on it. We have 2 manuals from Umarex, and we have an Allen key for adjusting the hop. Let's pop this away because we don't care about boxes on this channel. Unless every now and again we do get a nice box, don't we? So the 629 competitor. It's got a lovely grey dull finish. Now I'm not sure if this is plated like the others. I imagine it might be. Very much love the difference in colour though compared to just the bog standard silver. And yeah, same shells as what we use in the other revolvers. It's got Energy Max 2 joules on here. I bet it's going to be a lot more than that. And we've got a Allen key system in the front here, and these look like removable weights. Now I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure if these are meant to be removed. I will probably remove them if I do use it because it is ridiculously heavy. You know what? Might not. So you got the same grip as the 629 Classic here. This one doesn't have a CO2 capsule in, so we're going to have to pop one in there. So let's grab one out the bag and shove a CO2 capsule in the revolver. So we'll line this up here. Then we use the tool that comes with, installed on the grip, and we can turn the CO2 capsule in like that. And put the grip back in or on, and we'll just test it to make sure it does indeed function. Trigger feels a bit different on that one. It feels like a lot crisper. No, I think it's just me being weird. It feels like the trigger feels slightly lighter. Now it could be just in my head. But you know the score, guys. We've been through a couple of these Umarex revolvers. If you're new to the channel and this is the first video you're seeing, there'll be a full playlist of revolver related content if you're into your airsoft revolvers. But this is a CO2 powered airsoft revolver. It's extremely heavy. It's the competitor model. They've got many, I think like 8 or 9 models in the range, maybe more. We've actually got a rail up here for putting an optic on there if we want to. The front sight is completely molded. This is probably like a cast piece of metal. So there's nothing like fitted in here. It's literally just a solid cast. We do have a adjustable rear sight for windage and elevation. It's a double action, single action revolver, so we can use single action where we pull the hammer back first and we release it by the trigger press, or we can do a double action by pulling the trigger all the way and it will fire, but it's a longer trigger pull and it's a little bit stronger. So we have these shells. They load in from the back. You put a 6mm airsoft BB in the back here, 1 per shell. I'll just demonstrate that to you now. In fact, I've got some in a speed loader here. Let's make it easy on ourselves. So we just pop a shell in, pop a BB in the shell, and just push it on a flat surface, or you can just Oh, not that one. Just push it in with your finger. These do give a little bit of inconsistency in the power, I think, because you can push them in further or not as far. That's got to do something with the trajectory, because these revolvers are anything but consistent. It's just the way it works. So once you've got those loaded up with a BB in the back of each shell, we can load them in one by one, or you can use a speed loader if you've got one that fits the 44 Magnum infrastructure. So one in at a time. You know the score. We're going to do 3 shots in single action, and then we're going to do 3 shots in double action and see what we get. Got 0.3 gram BBs in the revolver. This is a fresh CO2 bulb. We've got the Chrono set to 0.3 grams. And I'm guessing this is going to be over 2 joules, but let's find out. Yeah, 2.592 joules. Energy max 2 joules. Who are they kidding? So 2.592. 2.699, 2.695, 2.683, 2.699, 2.73. Are we empty? We are indeed. So we'll eject these shells, put them to one side, because you guys know we could do better than that. We have the Jaeger Precision Easy Shell, and we can pop a BB into each slot here, and this just takes all the bad stuff out of running CO2 shell fed revolvers. You know, it's all encased in one piece. It's solid plastic, and you can carry these far more easily than doing this. The amount of times I drop shells trying to load them, even when I'm doing it at home in a non-stressful situation. We pop this in the back here, and you'll see compared to the 69 Classic, it goes straight in, much like the Trust Me. So I think it is just a problem with that revolver. Again, it wasn't new. Here we go. It's 0.3 gram BBs. So 1.1, 1.1, 1.1. Just showing this, sorry. Do forget 1.1 joules. 0.962. 0.978 and 1 joule. What I have found with the Trust Me is the more that I use it, it gets more consistent. But we've gone down from 2.7 joules down to an average of 1.05 over the shots, I think. So not only does the Easy Shell make your life easier, this isn't an ad for it, I do apologise, but it does make the revolvers site legal, so depending on your site. And we can eject it all in one piece. So yeah, how quick can we fill this up compared to the shells? You know, it's a couple of seconds really, isn't it, and it's done compared to these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and they always want to roll off the bench. 5 and 6. So let's do an exercise here and load these empty shells in. I'm using the shells, which I wouldn't be because they're too high powered anyway. I've shot my 6 shots. I eject the shells, get rid of the empties. They don't always fall out. I take my individual shells, I'll load them into revolver. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. And they're flying off the bench. There we go. Now we can shoot the 6 shots. I eject the shells with the Easy Shell. I'm already good to go. So it is a lot faster. And the sound is different because you're getting less throughput of CO2 compared to the standard shells, and my ears are ringing now even with that. So we've got a hop on the top, but we can adjust much like the other models in the line. It's an extremely comfortable grip compared to the Trust Me. I think you guys knew that anyway. We've got a safety on the left side, which locks the hammer and the trigger. Push it forward to go into fire, push it forward even more to release the cylinder. So are these weights removable? Now I'm going to show you the weight difference. probably compare these two actually. They're probably similar sized. Neither of them have shells in. So the Trust Me comes in at just over a kilo, so 1.098. The competitor comes in at almost 1.5, 1.471. There is that much weight in the front here. I don't know what material they're using, but you pick it up. Like, I pick this up and it feels like I'm not holding anything now, and it's yeah, it's very pointable. This one, and I imagine it's from a competitive shooting standpoint, they want to keep the muzzle down, so it makes sense. However, in airsoft we don't have recoil to deal with, so do I have an Allen key that's the right size? Can we remove? Oh, it's actually not that tight at all, so that's ideal. Makes my life much easier. And it does look like this is meant to be removable. Again, nothing in the manual concerning the weights. It's just a very generic manual. They just they've missed a trick there. So we do that. We can pop it out here. And to be honest with you, there's hardly any weight there at all. It's all in this cast piece of metal here. So even though you can remove them, I imagine with the real revolver you can add more weight if you want to. These weigh pretty much next to nothing. They're just some, you know, some cheap aluminium parts. You could very much make these out of steel or, I don't know, tungsten if you've got an open checkbook. So yeah, it's not really going to make any difference. That's what I was most curious about. I thought if I remove the weight, and maybe I put like a 3D printed spacer in there or something, is it going to get the weight of the revolver down? And unfortunately, guys, no. So this isn't for the faint of heart, this revolver. It is extremely front heavy. That being said, gives it a bit of character. I mean, I'm not sure where they're going with the styling on this. You'd think that with this they could really make it any shape. They would match it to the receiver or the body of the revolver. It looks a little bit out of place because it's chunky. However, do I have anything that I can slap on there, even if it is ridiculous? Red dots. Let me grab a red dot. Ideally, you would be using something like a little RMR on a rail mount, maybe. The MPX is going to make a brief appearance. I do love this MPX. Let's take this off the side. So you can put on, if you're into video games, you could put on a scope, you could put on a red dot. You can get as wacky with it as you want. So it's a nice little feature. I do wish it weighed a little bit less, and I'm harking on about it now. You're probably going, shut up, we already know. You've told us about the weight so many times. But I'm experiencing this revolver for the first time as well as you guys. Apart from just opening the boxes and making sure that everything's there, this is the first hands-on as you get. So what do you think of this? It's very cool looking, isn't it? Very very modern compared to the 629 Smith & Wesson. Picking this up, it feels like a toy compared to that. I mean, God, that's got to be close to the real front weight. It is stonking. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video today. If you do run these revolvers, or the Dan Wesson 715s, or the Chiappa Rhinos, you know, and you want an easier way to run them, dropped it over there. I'd appreciate it if you wanted to support the channel and you want to pick up a cool product. These are available on the website. They do go out sporadically, just while I'm waiting to produce some more to get them on the website, so bear with me. I think one guy came on the website the other day and bought my whole stock of these for the Umarex revolvers. So I'll be printing some more. They are now available in Ecto Green, Safety Orange, which is a very bright orange, and then I also did some which are called Watermelon. And basically what it was I hit the print on the Ecto Green colour to print some more out, and I was having a restock of the Safety Orange and didn't realise there wasn't that much material on the spool. got back, and this is what I love about the Bambu Labs X1 Carbon, got back like 9-10 hours later, and the printer was still sat there waiting, going, you ran out of filament. So I popped the green off, I put the orange on, and because it had printed like the first few layers, it just carried on. It printed the rest in the orange colour, and what it did was it was like a green back and an orange front, and it kind of looked like a slice of watermelon-ish, because obviously watermelon's not orange, but there's some funky colours like that up there. So if you do want to see any colours, blood red hopefully will be coming back in as soon as possible. I have had a look at, because I know Thor in the Discord said about doing translucent material, so I did print one out of PETG, but it's not actually that translucent, so it doesn't really make sense. It's just like a cloudy colour. So I'm going to sign it off there. Thanks as always for tuning in and listening to me babble on camera for nearly 16 minutes. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer. I do read all the comments. And as always, from me, and more importantly from Bench, we'll see you in the next one.